I told her not to go to that hotel with him. She went anyway, wearing the black dress he told her to wear. When she came home at midnight smelling like his cologne, I didn't yell. I just made one phone call that would expose a lie she'd been hiding for 18 years. A lie about my own son. My name is Richard Coleman. I'm 57 years old, and I've spent the last 30 years building Coleman Construction from a one-man operation to a respected firm with 22 employees and projects across 3 counties. Patricia and I met when I was still swinging a hammer on job sites. She was a young real estate agent then, ambitious and driven with a smile that could close deals I couldn't even get in the door for. We built our lives together. 2 kids, Melissa, 22 and finishing her master's degree, and Brandon, 18, who just graduated high school with a basketball scholarship. The house in Cedar Ridge with the workshop I built myself. Annual family trips to the lake. 26 years of marriage, most of them good. Patricia made partner at Prestige Realty 18 months ago. The promotion came with a corner office, a company car, and Vincent Torres as her main business contact. I met him at the celebration dinner, one of those industry events where everyone drinks too much wine and talks about market trends. Vincent was 45, divorced with easy confidence and a Rolex that probably cost more than my first truck. "Richard, right?" Vincent said, his handshake lingering too long. "Patricia talks about you constantly, the self-made man. That's admirable." Patricia laughed, touching Vincent's arm. "Vincent's been instrumental in connecting us with luxury car buyers. We've increased high-end property sales by 45%. Team effort," Vincent said, looking at her instead of me. "Couldn't have done it without Patricia's vision." I smiled because that's what you do. You smile and pretend you don't notice the way your wife's business partner looks at her. The late nights started after that. Property. Showings, Patricia would say, texting at 7 that she'd be home by 9. 9 became 10. 10 became midnight. Weekend open houses multiplied. I didn't question it. Patricia had earned that partnership. But 3 weeks ago during dinner, Patricia's phone buzzed on the table between us. "Looking forward to Friday, 8 p.m. at Meridian Hotel. Wear that black dress." The message was from Vincent Torres. Patricia grabbed the phone so fast she knocked over her water glass. Clear liquid spread across the wooden table I'd built with my own hands. "That's just a business thing," she said, voice too bright. "Client dinner for the Henderson estate listing." "On a Friday night?" I asked. "At the Meridian?" The Meridian wasn't a client place. It was intimate tables, dim lighting, steaks starting at $80, where I'd taken Patricia for our 15th anniversary. "It's not just us," she said, already heading for paper towels. "The whole luxury team." I watched her hands shake as she blotted the spill, watched her avoid my eyes. Friday came. I told Patricia I thought it was inappropriate, her going to that hotel with Vincent, especially after that text. We were in our bedroom, her trying on a black dress I'd never seen before. "You're being paranoid, Richard," Patricia said. "This is my career. Vincent's my business partner. These dinners are part of the job." "Then why did he tell you what to wear?" "He didn't tell me. He suggested. There's a difference, Richard." She turned, and for a second I saw something I couldn't read. Guilt. Defiance. "I'm going," she said quietly. "You need to trust me." I wanted to believe her. 26 years should mean more than a text about a black dress. But when Patricia walked out at 7:30, leaving that new perfume behind, something inside me made a decision. I wasn't going to just sit home and wait. I sat in my truck outside the Meridian for 20 minutes before I saw them arrive. Patricia pulled into the parking lot at 8:07, 7 minutes. Late, which wasn't like her. She was always punctual, almost obsessively so, but tonight she'd taken extra time with her makeup, her hair, that black dress that hugged her in ways I hadn't noticed in years. Vincent's Mercedes was already there, parked near the entrance like he owned the place. I watched Patricia walk in, watched her pause at the door to check her reflection in the glass, smooth down her dress, take a breath like she was preparing for something important. Not a client dinner, something else entirely. My phone buzzed, a text from Brandon asking if I'd pick him up from basketball practice at 9:30. I replied yes, trying to keep my hand steady on the phone. Our son had no idea his mother was sitting down to dinner with another man while his father sat in a parking lot, feeling like the world was tilting sideways. I told her not to go to that hotel with him. The words kept running through my head on a loop. I'd warned her clearly, directly. When she didn't listen, when she walked out that door anyway, something fundamental shifted in me. I couldn't just sit at home anymore, couldn't just trust and hope and wait for reassurance that never came. So, I took action. I called my buddy Leo that afternoon, the one person who'd understand without judgment. Leo Griffin had been my best friend since we were both starting out in construction, had stood next to me at my wedding, knew Patricia almost as well as I did. He was a private investigator now, ran his own firm doing corporate background checks and insurance fraud cases. "I need your help," I told him over the phone. "It's about Patricia." "What's going on, Richard?" Leo's voice had gone serious immediately. "I think she's having an affair." There was a long pause. "You sure?" "No, that's why I need you." Leo met me at a coffee shop 2 blocks from the Meridian at 8:30. He showed up in jeans and a jacket, camera equipment in a nondescript bag, looking nothing like the suit-wearing investigator who testified in the court cases. "You really want to do this?" Leo asked as we sat in his car. "Once you see something, you can't unsee it." "I already can't unsee what I've been ignoring for months," I replied. "I just need proof, something concrete." "All right," Leo said. "But Richard, if this goes where I think it's going, you need to be smart about it. Don't confront her tonight. Don't do anything emotional. We document. We gather evidence. And then you make decisions from a position of strength, not reaction." I nodded, but inside I felt like I was made of glass. One wrong move away from shattering completely. Leo positioned himself with a clear view through the Meridian's front windows. The hotel restaurant had floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking the city, all atmosphere and ambiance. Through the window, I could see Patricia and Vincent at a corner table, just the two of them. No luxury team, no colleagues, just them. Vincent reached across the table and took Patricia's hand. She didn't pull away. I felt my chest constrict, breath catching in a way that had nothing to do with the cold night air. Leo's camera clicked softly, capturing the moment, the touch, the intimacy of 2 people who weren't having a business dinner. "There's your proof," Leo said quietly. "I'm sorry, man." I watched them for another 15 minutes, watched Vincent lean in close, whisper something that made Patricia laugh, watched her touch his arm the same way she used to touch mine when we were dating, back when I was the only man who made her smile like that. My phone buzzed again, Brandon reminding me about practice pickup. "I have to go get my son," I said, voice flat. Leo put a hand on my shoulder. "We'll figure this out. But Richard, listen to me. Don't go home and blow up tonight. Sleep on it, make a plan. You've got kids to think about." I drove to the high school gym, picked up Brandon, listened to him talk about basketball drills and his friend's gaming setup. He had no idea that in the span of one evening, I'd confirmed his mother was cheating and his family was about to implode. When we got home, Patricia's car wasn't in the driveway yet. "Where's Mom?" Brandon asked. "Work dinner," I said, the lie tasting like ash in my mouth. "She'll be home soon." Brandon headed upstairs to shower, and I sat in the kitchen with the lights off, waiting. Patricia came home at 11:45 p.m. She walked in, smelling like wine and lies. She kicked off her heels in the hallway, humming something under her breath, completely unaware I was sitting in the dark kitchen watching her. "Richard," she called out, voice light, almost cheerful. "You still up?" I flicked on the light. Patricia jumped slightly, hand on her chest. "You scared me," she said, laughing. "Why are you sitting in the dark?" "How was the client dinner?" I asked, keeping my voice level. "Good, productive. We finalized strategy for the Henderson listing." She moved to the refrigerator, poured herself water. "Vincent's really pushing us to expand into commercial properties." The way she said his name, casual, familiar, like I hadn't just watched her hold hands with him 2 hours ago. "Just you and Vincent?" I asked. Patricia paused, glass halfway to her lips. "No, the whole team was there. I told you that." "That's interesting," I said, "because I drove by the Meridian around 8:30. Looked like just the 2 of you at that corner table." I watched the color drain from her face, watched her brain scramble for an explanation, a deflection, anything to maintain the lie. "You followed me." Patricia's voice shifted, defensive now. "Are you serious right now? You're spying on me?" "I warned you not to go," I replied. "I told you it was inappropriate. You went anyway. So, yes, I drove by and I saw exactly what kind of client dinner you were having." "This is insane, Richard. You're being paranoid and controlling. The team was supposed to come. They canceled last minute. What was I supposed to do? Cancel a work meeting with my business partner? Stop lying to me. My voice was quiet but firm. I saw you, Patricia. I saw how he looked at you, how you looked at him. That wasn't business. She set down the glass, crossed her arms. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to defend myself against your jealous accusations. If you can't trust me after 26 years, that's your problem, not mine. She walked past me toward the stairs. I let her go. Leo's words echoed in my head. Don't confront her until you have everything you need. I spent the weekend playing the dutiful husband while gathering evidence. Saturday morning, I told Patricia I had job site meetings. Instead, I drove to Leo's office. I need more than photos from one dinner, I told him. I need everything. Phone records, emails, financial transactions, whatever you can legally get. Leo nodded, pulling up files on his computer. I already started digging. Did you know Patricia opened a separate credit card 3 months ago? Not on any of your joint accounts. What? He turned the screen toward me. A Capital One card in Patricia's name, only with a billing address at her office. Charges for hotels, restaurants, weekend trips to places we'd never been together. She's been planning this, Leo said. This isn't some impulsive affair. This is calculated. My hands clenched into fists. What else? Give me a week. I'll have a complete picture. That week felt like drowning in slow motion. I went to work, came home, had dinner with my family, all while knowing my wife was living a double life. Brandon asked if Patricia and I were fighting. Melissa called from grad school worried because Mom seemed distant during their phone calls. I held it together because that's what men do. We don't fall apart. We assess, plan, and execute. Thursday afternoon, Leo called. His voice was tight, professional, the tone he used when delivering bad news. You need to come to my office, he said. Now. I rescheduled 2 client meetings and drove straight there. Leo had documents spread across his desk like evidence at a crime scene. Sit down, Richard, he said. I sat. Patricia's been transferring money from your joint business account to a separate account for 14 months, Leo began, sliding a printout toward me. Small amounts at first, $3,000 here, $4,000 there, but it adds up. She's moved $75,000. The number hit me like a physical blow, $75,000. It gets worse. Leo pulled up another document. That money is going into an LLC registered 8 months ago. Torres Coleman Properties. Want to guess who the partners are? I didn't need to guess. Patricia and Vincent. Correct. They're building a luxury real estate firm using your money, your business credit, your reputation. I found emails between them discussing which of your construction, clients they're going to poach once they launch. I stared at the documents, at the evidence of systematic betrayal. This wasn't just an affair. This was corporate espionage, theft, a planned destruction of everything I'd built. There's more, Leo said quietly. I got her phone records. She's been in contact with Vincent constantly. Hundreds of texts, calls at all hours. But, Richard, there's something else you need to know about Brandon. My head snapped up. What about Brandon? Leo's expression was pained. He slid another document across the desk. Medical records, lab results, DNA testing from 18 years ago. I don't understand, I said, scanning the papers. Patricia had a relationship with Vincent in college, Leo explained. They dated senior year, broke up when he moved west. But according to these records I found in her email archives, they reconnected 19 years ago, right before Brandon was born. The room tilted. No. She had a paternity test done when Brandon was 6 months old, private lab, paid cash. The results are in that file. I opened the folder with shaking hands. Read the conclusion 3 times before it registered. Probability of paternity, 99.97%. Vincent Torres confirmed as biological father. I'd been raising another man's son for 18 years. I'm sorry, Richard, Leo whispered, but you needed to know the truth before you make your next move. I sat there, papers in hand, watching my entire life rewrite itself. Every baseball game, every parent-teacher conference, every birthday party. I'd loved that boy as my own. He was my own in every way that mattered except biology. Does Vincent know? I asked. Based on their emails, yes. He's known from the beginning. They planned it that way. Patricia wanted security, stability. You provided that while she kept Vincent on the side. I stood up, paced to the window. Outside, people were going about their normal days, unaware that my world had just been shattered and reassembled into something unrecognizable. "What do I do?" I asked, my voice raw. "You fight," Leo replied. "You protect yourself, your business, and your daughter. And you decide what relationship you want with Brandon moving forward. Because regardless of biology, you're still the man who raised him." I nodded slowly. The shock was wearing off, replaced by something colder, sharper. "I need a lawyer," I said. "The best one you know?" Diana Blackwell had an office that matched her reputation. Corner suite downtown, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the financial district. Awards from the State Bar Association lining the walls. She was 55, had handled 400 divorce cases, and had never lost when protecting a business owner's assets. "Mr. Coleman," she greeted me, shaking my hand with a grip that meant business. "Leo filled me in on the basics. Let's talk about what we're really dealing with here." I sat across from her massive desk and laid out everything. The affair, the secret company, the stolen money, the DNA results showing Brandon wasn't mine biologically. Diana listened without interrupting, taking notes in neat handwriting. "How's your relationship with Brandon?" she asked when I finished. "He's my son," I said firmly. "Biology doesn't change that. I've raised him for 18 years. I'm not walking away from him." Diana nodded approvingly. "Good, because that's going to be your strongest position morally, and it'll play well if this goes to court. Now, let's talk about Patricia and Vincent's little business venture." She pulled out a legal pad and started sketching a strategy. "They've committed multiple actionable offenses: embezzlement from your business account, corporate espionage, potentially fraud depending on how they use your client information. We can pursue criminal charges if you want." "I want them to pay," I said, "but I don't want Brandon caught in the crossfire." "Understood. Here's what we're going to do. First, we freeze all joint accounts immediately. Second, we file an injunction preventing Patricia from accessing any business files or client lists. Third, we send a cease and desist to Torres Coleman Properties regarding the use of your proprietary information." That evening, I called my mother. She lived 25 minutes away in the same neighborhood where I grew up, a small ranch-style home my father had bought 45 years ago. After Dad passed 6 years back, I'd offered to have her move in with us. She'd refused, said she valued her independence. Now I understood why. Independence to fund my wife's affair without me knowing. "Mom, I need to ask you about something," I began carefully when she answered. "Have you been giving Patricia money?" The silence stretched so long, I thought the call had dropped. "Who told you that?" she asked quietly. "Doesn't matter. Is it true?" Another pause, then softly, "Yes, for about 4 years now." "Why?" "Patricia came to me, said you were being controlling about finances, that she needed money for personal things and didn't want to fight with you about it. She said you questioned every purchase, made her feel like she had to justify everything. I believed her, Richard. She was my daughter-in-law. I trusted her." "She was lying, Mom. She used that money to fund an affair. She's been cheating on me with a man from her work, stealing money from my business to start a competing company with him, and you helped her do it." I heard my mother's sharp intake of breath. "Oh my God, Richard! I didn't know. I swear I didn't know." "She played you," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "She manipulated you into thinking I was the problem, so you'd give her money without telling me." "How much did you give her total?" "Maybe $25,000 over 4 years, Mom whispered. "Richard, I'm so sorry. I thought I was helping her. She seemed so stressed, so unhappy. I thought you two were having problems, and she just needed some breathing room." "We were having problems because she was having an affair," I replied. "And now my marriage is over, my business is at risk, and I'm finding out my 18-year-old son isn't biologically mine." The rest of that conversation was tears and apologies. Mom promised to testify if needed, to help however she could. But the damage was done. Another person I'd trusted had been manipulated into betraying me. The next morning, Diana had arranged for recording equipment in my house. Patricia had agreed to talk, thinking she could manipulate me one more time. She came home that evening wearing casual clothes, like we were just going to have a normal conversation. "Thank you for agreeing to this," she said, sitting on the couch where we'd watched 1,000 movies together. I poured us both wine, made small talk about the kids. Melissa had decided on her thesis topic. Brandon was excited about college basketball tryouts next year. Normal things, safe things, lowering her guard. Patricia, I know things got out of hand, I began after her second glass. But we can fix this. We don't have to destroy everything we built. Tell me about Vincent, I said quietly. How long has it really been? She hesitated. The wine was working, loosening her tongue. We dated in college. You knew that. I didn't actually. She'd never mentioned him. It was a long time ago, ancient history. But you reconnected, I said. When? At my college reunion, 19 years ago. You didn't come with me that night, remember? You had a job site emergency. 19 years ago, right before Brandon was born. And you've been together since then? Not together, she said, taking another sip. We'd see each other occasionally. It wasn't supposed to be serious. It was just... She stopped, realizing she was saying too much. Just what? Just something for me, Patricia said, voice rising. Something that was mine, not ours. Not about the kids or the mortgage or your business. Do you know what it's like to be Patricia Coleman, wife of Richard Coleman, mother of his children? Never just Patricia. So you started a company with him using my money? She laughed bitterly. Your money? I work for that money too, Richard. I gave up my career ambitions to support yours. That business credit you're so precious about, I helped you build it. Half those clients came through my real estate connections. And Brandon, I asked, was he as much mine too? Patricia went very still. What are you talking about? I know Vincent's his biological father. I have the DNA test you had done 18 years ago, the one you paid cash for and kept hidden. You went through my personal files. Her voice was shrill now. That's illegal. You lied to me for 18 years, I cut in. You let me raise another man's child while you carried on an affair with his father. You stole from my business to fund your escape plan, and now you want to talk about illegal? Vincent didn't want kids back then, Patricia said, standing up, pacing. He wasn't ready, but I wanted a baby, and you were there, stable, reliable. You were perfect for the role, Richard. The perfect provider, the perfect father. And you were. You gave Brandon everything. Except the truth. The truth? Patricia spun to face me. You want truth? Fine. I never loved you the way I love Vincent. You were safe. You were the backup plan. But Vincent, he's the love of my life. He always has been. There it was, captured on multiple recording devices. Her voice, her words, her complete admission. Get out of my house, I said quietly. Patricia grabbed her purse, headed for the door, then turned back. You'll never win this, Richard. My lawyer will destroy you, and Brandon will choose me over you when he finds out you're not even his real father. We'll see, I replied. The door slammed. I sat there in the silence. Then texted Diana. Got it all. Her response came immediately. Perfect. This changes everything. 8 months later, I stood in my newly renovated office looking out at the city skyline. Coleman Construction had not only survived, it had thrived. We'd picked up 12 new clients in the last quarter, word having spread that I was a man who honored his commitments. Melissa had finished her master's degree with honors, decided she wanted to work with me, developing sustainable construction practices. Brandon had just turned 19, was starting his sophomore year on a full basketball scholarship, and had stopped asking questions about Vincent, who'd moved to Phoenix after losing his business and facing fraud charges that were still pending. Patricia lived in a small apartment downtown, working as an assistant at a small realty firm that didn't know about her past. She had supervised visitation with Brandon once a month. He went reluctantly, came home angry, but Diana said that would fade with time. The divorce had been finalized 4 months ago. I kept the house, the business, primary custody. Patricia got her car and whatever personal items she could carry. She tried to appeal Judge Hamilton's ruling, but no attorney would take her case after the recording became part of the public record. My mother and I had rebuilt our relationship slowly. She volunteered at Brandon's college now, trying to make amends by being the grandmother she should have been all along. And there was someone new. Sarah Mitchell, a project manager I'd met on a commercial job. She'd left her previous firm after reporting safety violations, started her own consulting business. We'd been talking for months, carefully. Two people who understood what betrayal felt like. Nothing serious, I told Leo when he asked about her. Just dinner sometimes, conversation. But it felt like something more than that. Something tentative and honest. Sarah knew my history, knew about Brandon, knew everything. And she was still here. Last week, Brandon and Melissa had dinner with us at Sarah's place. After the kids left for a movie, Sarah and I walked around the downtown square. "How are you really doing?" she asked. "Better," I said honestly. Some days I still can't believe how much she lied. But then I look at Brandon and Melissa, and I remember what I'm fighting for. They're good kids. You raised them right. I tried, still trying. Sarah stopped, turned to face me. "Richard, I know you're not looking for anything serious, but I need you to know that when you are ready, I'm interested in getting to know you better and seeing where this could go." I looked at this woman who'd risked her career to stand up for what was right, who'd sat through Brandon's basketball games just to support him, who'd never once asked for anything in return. "I think I might be ready," I said slowly, carefully. "But ready." She smiled. And for the first time in years, I felt something I thought Patricia had destroyed: hope. Last month, Brandon asked if Sarah could come to his college's parents' weekend. Melissa called to tell me she'd met someone, an engineering student who reminded her of me. My mother hosted Thanksgiving, and Sarah sat at our table like she belonged there. I still had moments of anger, of wondering how I'd missed the signs for so long. But mostly I felt grateful. Grateful I'd found the strength to walk away, to fight back, to protect my kids and build something real from the ruins Patricia had left behind. The house felt different now, lighter. The workshop where Patricia used to complain about the noise was now where Brandon and his friends worked on projects during breaks. The kitchen where she'd lied to my face was where Sarah and I cooked dinner together, teaching Melissa new recipes over video calls. I'd learned something crucial through all of this. Being a man wasn't about never getting hurt. It was about how. You responded when someone tried to destroy you. It was about protecting the people who mattered, about fighting for truth, even when lies were easier, about building something new when the old foundation crumbled. Patricia had taken a lot from me, but she hadn't taken everything. She hadn't taken my relationship with my kids, my business, or my ability to trust again. And in the end, that meant I'd won. The morning sun streamed through my office windows as I reviewed the plans for our biggest project yet, a sustainable housing development that would employ half the town for the next 3 years. Brandon called to tell me about making Dean's List. Melissa texted photos from her job interview at an environmental engineering firm. Sarah sent me a message about dinner plans. My phone rang. It was Leo. "You sound good, man," he said when I answered. "Really good." "I am good," I replied, and meant it. "You know what you did right?" Leo asked. "You didn't let them break you. You fought smart, not angry. You protected what mattered most." He was right. In the end, it wasn't about the money Patricia stole or the years she lied. It was about refusing to let someone else's betrayal define my worth as a man, as a father, as a person who deserved honesty and respect. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't destroying your enemies, but rebuilding yourself stronger than they ever imagined possible. When someone tries to tear down everything you've built, the most powerful response isn't revenge. It's proving that your foundation was stronger than their deception all along.